Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Third Hour of Power. This is Grady of This Mormon Life, and I am here this week with my son, Garen. Garen was with us a little bit over a year ago when we talked about baptism, and this week we are discussing from the Ezra Taft Benson Manual, chapter 22, which is carrying the gospel to all the world. And Garen is my oldest son. And one of the things that's really important to us is helping him, even though he's only 10, prepare now to serve a mission.
In fact, it mentions the word 10, 11, or 12 to prepare for a mission on the paper.
Oh, on the lesson?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
It says that adults should prepare the children for a mission at 10, 11, or 12, and they should be prepared while young.
Oh, okay. Now, how are you preparing now, Garen, and how are mom and dad helping you prepare?
They're helping me prepare by reading the scriptures with me and teaching me to love the Lord.
Good. Well, Garen was awesome. He read the lesson. I gave him a highlighter, and he picked some of his favorites, and I've got some of my favorites too from the lesson. But one of Garen and I both picked the same favorite to begin with, which was from the life of Ezra Taft Benson. And so I thought Garen should take a moment and basically tell us about an event that happened in President Benson's life.
President Benson found a missionary who announced that he was going on a full-time mission, and he asked for him to take him with you. Like, he asked him to say, he said, "Take me with you," and wanted to go with him on the mission.
Who wanted to go on a mission?
President Benson.
President Benson. He saw this missionary in the temple, and he said, "Take me with you. Take me with you." President Benson, he had a love for missionary work. It was amazing. He had 10 siblings, and they all served missions. And they talked about how his father had served a mission actually while they were older. It was back in those days when fathers would serve missions, and he talked about the blessing that it was to get those missionary letters home from his father. And I think now, where we serve missions now when we're young adults, that our mission letters that we write home to our families could still be a source of inspiration and help for our children, because it is important that they prepare now to have a love of sharing the gospel with others and look forward to the day that they can serve, because there's people in the world that are looking for help and looking for peace. This is where I look at you and then you say your part about this part.
And also, another part I wanted to share was, the world is hungry for true religion, and we will have it. What it means is the world wants true religion.
What's true religion, Garen?
The beliefs in God that are true.
What are some of those?
Paying your tithing, reading the Book of Mormon, and a bunch of others that I could list.
Okay. So we have it. And why do people want that?
Because it'll help them answer the questions and the big questions in life.
Okay, like what?
Like why we are here and where we are going.
What lessons have you found through paying tithing and reading the Book of Mormon?
I have found a deep love for the Lord.
Tell me more about that.
I love the Lord, and I want to serve a mission to help teach about the gospel.
Fantastic. Isn't my son awesome? I'm super excited for him.
Say yes.
Oh, you. The lesson also talks about not only preparing our children while they're young to serve missions, but also to prepare for life as a senior couple when we get to that time in our lives, making sure that we have everything ready to serve, as well as being member missionaries. And it's always an interesting thing when it comes to being a member missionary. I'm not the best at it. I'll be honest, and I always have a hard time when our missionaries come over and they give us challenges and they want us to do things. And I don't know why it is. I think part of it is just it's that balancing act of you want missionary work to be organic and you want to be from the heart, but at the same time, if no one ever asks you to do it, so sometimes you won't, because there's lots of things that we're working on right now. And so it is good for the missionaries to come over and invite us to do things. It talks about here in the lesson that a challenge from President Benson. He says, "How long has it been since you invited a neighbor to sacrament meeting or to state conference, to come into your home for a home evening? How long has it been since you had a real gospel conversation?" And I think that's the idea, is that when it comes to missionary work, it doesn't have to be forced. We don't have to try and hit a quota. That's not what missionary work is. Missionary work is sharing the gospel with other people that you feel inspired to share it with. Again, have you ever had times where you wanted to share the gospel or have a gospel conversation with somebody?
Yeah. Once I wanted to give a Book of Mormon to my friend, and he told me he already had a Bible, so I gave it to my teacher.
Awesome. How did that make you feel when you did that?
It depends on the part. Whenever I offered it, I felt happy. Whenever he said he already had a Bible, I wasn't as happy.
Yeah. But what about then when you gave it to your teacher?
Happy.
Happy.
More happy.
More happy. And that's the great thing about sharing the gospel, is it does help us to find happiness. As we share the gospel with others, we're blessed with the Spirit. In the lesson at the end, there's a list. I don't know what it is about this President Benson manual, but I feel like there's a lot of lists in here. And this one has 4 things that we can do to be better prepared to serve, to be missionaries, to share the gospel with others. The first one it talks about is to strive to obtain the Spirit. And I think that's so essential, that we're doing this from the right place. We're not doing this because you kind of have that rhetoric about how we're trying to meet a quota, we're trying to prove to God that that we're good, and so we're trying to recruit people. And it's not about that. It's about having the Spirit and about having a deep love for other people, which will come later. But then it talks about being acquiring humility. And I like this because a lot of times we have a misunderstanding of what humility really is. It says that humility does not mean weakness. It does not mean timidity, being timid. It does not mean fear. We can be humble and also fearless. We can be humble and also courageous. And I think it's so important that we aren't afraid to share the gospel with others and to talk about things that we know are right. I really like Elder Neil L. Anderson's talk in April 2013 called "It's a Miracle." That's how I say that. He talks about how, "I promise you, as you pray to know with whom to speak, names and faces will come to your mind. Words to speak will be given in the very moment you need them. Opportunities will be open to you. Faith will overcome doubt, and the Lord will bless you with your very own miracles." And I think that's where the humility comes in, is that sometimes we think that we have to do it all. We have to have a plan. We have to have a 5-step program. We have to have all these things in place. And if that helps you to be a better missionary, wonderful. But the main thing is that we need to be humble and trust the Lord and say, we're willing to share the gospel. And if you bless us with opportunities to talk with people, we promise that we will be bold and we'll be courageous and share the gospel with others. It says that we need to love the people. And I think that's a big part of it, is that the reason that we share the gospel is because we love them and we recognize the happiness it's brought into our lives. And if we've got something that makes us happy, we want to share it with other people. My sister, Summer, who's been our guest a few times, her husband's name is Lenny. Garen, do you like Uncle Lenny?
Yeah.
And Lenny is very, very subdued. He's very muted in his conversation unless there's something that he likes. And if there's something that he's excited about or that he likes, you know it. Because he gets all excited about it, tells stories, gets all, livened up. And that's how it should be when we talk about the gospel, is that we shouldn't be drone about it. We shouldn't be down about it. We should be excited and say, I love going to church on Sunday. I love learning these new things. I have friends there that make me feel good. When I take the sacrament, I feel a weight lifted on the burdens of the week, of the mistakes that I've made and my own shortcomings. The teachings help me to be a better parent. These are things we should be excited about. And I think it's really essential, because of what's happening in the past couple of weeks here about policy changes, is that it's okay to have questions and to seek more understanding. But it is a disservice to the gospel mission to go online and to complain and to speak negatively about the brethren. Because anyone else who's outside of the church who reads that kind of messaging is not going to see your love for the gospel and not want to be part of that. And if that's your message, is you want that to happen as a result of your grandstanding, then I would say take a hard look at what you're trying to accomplish in life and see if it's in line with what Heavenly Father wants. But if you do have questions and you're looking genuinely to find a way to bring your alignment with Heavenly Father, then great. Find appropriate ways to discuss that and to find that journey. But I would really discourage anyone from trying to do anything that would dissuade anyone else from wanting to learn more about the church. Karen, have you ever had people say not nice things about the church?
I haven't heard one in particular, but once we went to a temple open house. I think Mom said she heard people who weren't being good.
Were they saying untrue things?
Yeah.
Or unkind things? Because of the things they were saying, would you want to go hang out with those guys?
No.
Would you want to go join their church?
No.
No. And that's the same thing with us. If we want to invite people to have the happiness we have, we need to be positive and we need to share the things that we love and to be inviting. And then the last thing that we need to do here, it talks about, is work diligently. And that's the big thing about missionary work, is that it is work. Sometimes you go out and you share the gospel with people, and like Garen had, they don't want a Book of Mormon, or they don't want to come to the trunk or treat. And that's okay. That happens sometimes. But it's the idea of going out and doing and showing the Lord that I'm willing, please help me to find people that I can help. Because I love my friends, I love my neighbors, I love my family, and I want to do what you'd have me do to help them find greater happiness. And that's the most important thing, is that, we love these people that we want to share the gospel with, and we know that through the gospel they can be happier. Karen, how has being a member of the church made you more happy?
Well, I've learned important stuff, and I've got to go to fun activities.
You got to go to fun activities,
and I get to learn about Jesus and learn stuff I wouldn't if I wasn't.
Tell me more about that important stuff. What's the important stuff that you would want to share with someone else who didn't know about the church that would help them be happy?
The articles of faith and the gospel.
Awesome. Articles of faith are great. That's a really good thing to know, so that as you do have gospel questions that people want to know more about the church, having those memorized will really help you to share the teachings of the gospel and help people to understand what we believe as members of Christ's church. And I'm excited for Garen. He was a great sport tonight. He got a new haircut. It's our primary program tomorrow, so he's going to look handsome for that. And I'm thankful for my wife, who went to school, learned how to cut hair, and does that for our family. That's why I got this nice haircut, except for my bedhead on the side here. And I want to also thank our benefactors, This Week in Mormons, for all that they do. They are the ones that make this podcast possible. They make it get into your iPods if you have an iPod still, or your iPhones or your iPads, or if you've got a Google device, I won't judge, or a Windows device, good luck. But all these ways that you can watch and listen to our podcasts are out there because of what they do. If you enjoy podcasts like this, I would highly recommend you check out their podcast, Sunday School Bonanza, where they talk about Sunday school lessons, as well as This Week in Mormons, where they talk about current affairs in the church, church news, and people that are members of our church doing cool stuff. And lastly, I'd invite you to check out my blog, which is this-mormon-life.com, where I try to do my best to share the gospel and share with people my own experiences in being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the blessings that I have because of my membership there, the things that I learn, and the way that it's blessed my life. And I hope that as people read that, they either gain stronger faith in their own convictions, or maybe they get a greater understanding of what the gospel is and what it means. And with that, I bid you all a fond adieu.